you, in a market like this, I mean, it's called How to Make Money in Any Market. The way you've made money in this market is to be a concentrated investor, right? You talk about diversification in here. How do you tell somebody to stay diversified in a market like this, where it's like, if you just owned those 10 stocks, you made a lot of money. If you were diversified, it was worked against you.
It's a trick of diversification, Liz. I say you can only be diversified among growth stocks. I have a list of sectors I say you can't buy because they're trading stocks. And that after you drop one after another, what you're left with is growth. And I want you to be diversified among growth stocks only, because I don't want more than one decision unless the company's fundamentals deteriorate and then you sell.
I want to give y'all this quote. Diversification is what analysts and people tell you because they just want you to buy a whole bunch of different stocks. Diversification is not the way you make a lot of money. If you pay attention to any great company, any great person, any great business, they are not diversified in what they do. Let me give you an example, right? Jeff Bezos created Amazon. What did Amazon sell when they first came out? They sold books, right? Did they sell anything else? No, they sold books online. That is how they made themselves into being what Amazon currently is today. They then expanded into being an e-commerce giant to who they are now, but they made all of their money on one item that they sold. They became great at one thing, right? If you move it into Apple, what did Apple become great at? The iPhone. That is how Apple became Apple. They became an amazing company based on one product. Then they expanded to multiple products after they became great at the one product. We can keep going. Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys owner. If you know Jerry Jones, he made all of his money on what? Oil. He made his billions in oil. He then went and bought the Dallas Cowboys. Diversification is not for rich people. Let's just make this honestly true. And I'm going to quote Warren Buffett because we're talking about someone that actually knows what he's talking about. So Warren Buffett, most famous quote on diversification, says this specifically: diversification is protection against ignorance. Diversification is protection against ignorance. We know ignorance means not knowing. So he's basically saying you're trying to protect your ignorance and not knowing the information. And the reason why you diversify is because you're ignorant and you're trying to protect yourself. He keeps going. He says, it makes little sense if you know what you're doing. One of the greatest investors ever has said that diversification is protection against ignorance. So if we go back to my initial statement about doing the research, knowing the business, knowing the companies that you're invested in, then diversification doesn't make sense. And what I'm not saying is put all your money into one business. What I am saying is you want to be very, very specific about what companies you love and that you're willing to put most of your investment income into. For me, I got 3 companies that I love. I invest in total of 6. I have 3 that I love, and I got 2 ETFs to pair with that. And we're not including Bitcoin right now because crypto is a different pot, and I invest in crypto also. But when it comes to the stock market, I love 3 companies. So most of my money go in those 3 companies. And then I got 3 others that I like that I put some money into. But ultimately in the end, I'm not diversified. I'm not looking to be diversified. So understand that when people tell you to diversify your portfolio, understand that they don't understand, nor they do understand, but they're trying to protect themselves and ultimately protect you from ignorance. That's ultimately what Warren Buffett said. So as Jim Cramer is saying, do not diversify within anybody outside of growth companies. He's saying growth companies, you can have multiple growth companies and pour your money into that. But anything outside of growth companies, there is no such thing as diversification, because you're not going to make wealthy money and really magnify your investments if you have your money spread it across so many different businesses. It's mathematically impossible. So if you have, let's say, for example, $5,000, I would argue that you should probably be investing in 3 companies max, and maybe an ETF. And the more you have, the more you can build up your account, the more you should then look to other businesses that you can invest in. But ultimately, if you are having an account that you're trying to build, then you want to take 2 to 3 great companies that you love, and you want to pour your money into those companies and allow those great businesses to continue to make you money every day during the, Monday through Friday, as they continue to do great within the world and ultimately the United States economy.